about the game.
Thank you very much, guys. G2 over Splyce in the third fastest win we've seen in the EU LCS so far, winning by a landslide, honestly. And before this game, we were looking at what composition Splyce could come out with. First thing, they leave Braum on the board. That is now a 6-on-6 for Hybrid on G2. He just makes magic on that champion. What did you make of the draft besides that?
I think, again, we see from Splyce, they're trying many different kinds of compositions, even though they haven't perfected a single one yet. So this one, again, is very purely protect your AD carry and have your split pusher in the Quinn as this 1-4 setup. The problem is you run 0 engage.
Yep.
And if you do not understand how to properly set up the map in advance, you will always just find yourself chasing the enemy, but you can't chase with this comp, like, at all. And Nisbet now has played 7 different supports. Hybrid, as you mentioned, played Braum 6 times. The team is playing perfect with it.
I got questions for Splyce. I mean, they ban out the Thresh, leaving the Braum obviously open. Then they play a composition that actually gets peeled pretty hard. If you play a Protect the X comp, Braum counters that super hard because all the damage goes into Lucian. Then you have Kobe as your AD carry, and if we're being honest, he's not the guy you want to build a Protect the Kobe comp around, especially when your main carry is Senkux and you put him in a utility role. With a 4-1 with Windoware in the top lane, who has shown that he just can't carry from the side lane. So Splyce, they need to start doing something different. G2, on the other hand, yeah, the Victor pick on the 5th pick on Perks, while he's usually a carry player, he just goes more into the wave clear role and teamfights. I really love the pick.
Yeah, it's so good when you're against a composition that relies so much on a strong 4. Again, they're copper with protection. They can never push anything because Victor just like one laser clears the wave. And again, Splyce are like building comps that technically should work against G2. A lot of disengage, you know, against some of the great team fights. But it's not what your team can play. It doesn't fit your players, and then it's obviously not going to work.
It also doesn't help when the early game goes relatively bad for you as well. Let's take a look at the replay, especially Wonderware getting predicted on there and just giving up first blood, honestly.
So we praise G2 for their coaching and their drafting, but also for what seems to be their preparation here, because they're waiting for Wonderware. He walks in. We all know how this clip ends, but it just puts down the 1 in the 4-1 part already from the start of the game.
And you could see how G2 were pinging in the bush, even before seeing anything. They're saying, just wait here, there's a high chance he shows up to place a ward, so they can spot where we're sending our dual lane level 1. And then you just catch him out, and this obviously starts snowballing from there.
Yeah, and this is a clip where we see actually Trick picks up the Herald so he can get the base quicker, because Splyce is setting up a phase 2 of the lane swap where they're going to push the tier 2 tower, but they're doing it to a Graves who, thanks to the Herald buff, will be there a lot quicker. And then if we roll the clip forward, we'll see in the other side of the map, G2 is completely winning out in terms of the base race, even though they have way fewer members there.
Yeah, we were talking about how G2 could have given that buff over to the Braum just so he could go top and take the big wave you see up here with the Emperor to push in tower if they wanted to base race. Purely for that one reason, but the reason they give it to Graves, as you mentioned, faster recall time, he can wave clear, it's such a good pick for them, and ends up in a big team fight.
Yeah, this just pretty much forces an engage from Splyce.
Well, you mentioned that sometimes they might be a little bit too aggressive or too ahead of the ball. I feel like for that last tower hit, they greeted a little bit, but they can fall back on their team fight prowess, so they made this work.
I mean, Hybrid in this fight was an absolute joy to watch. He saves his shield to turn into the right side, Exhaust and flashes out. The last tick of Ignite takes him down, but this was yet another fight, started by Splyce playing a disengaged composition.
Every single fight, the first 20 minutes, was Splyce chasing after G2 saying, we need to pick a fight now. We need to like burst down someone before the rest of G2 groups up. Every single time they took down one guy, almost took him down, but used everything on him, and the rest of G2 shows up, and they just win the fights.
Sorry, I have another example of that right here.
With Splyce,
the chase. It started with Splyce, and G2 chases him down.
Kikis here. I really like this play from Kikis, and this is exactly what we're looking for a guy like Kikis, who swapped roles coming into the season, and we kind of been doubting him a little bit if he was going to be good enough as a top laner. He's able to play the more utility tank role so often, and as long as he fills that engage like he did here, he's doing his role he's doing his job perfectly, and it sets up Emperor, it sets up Perks to be these big carries in team fights.
You have a couple of members with very well-defined roles within G2, it seems. Like Kiki's on the utility top with the occasional carry, then Hybrid, a very heavy peel, protect support. And I like it when teams go for a couple things that stay stationary and concrete, and then you can introduce some variables in the other roles. You know, Perks, he can go from utility to hard carry, but you can always rely on Hybrid to keep your team alive. You can always rely on Kiki's to have really good TPs and play more utility role, and the other members are just filling the gaps in beautifully.
Perfect one style. Once they get countered, you learn a second style, and then you can take it from there and slowly build on. Don't try and play 5 different compositions when none of them seem to be working for
Unless you're G2.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They get one composition down in the start, pick up more, poke comes in, now we see more different kind of composition. So I like what G2 is doing. Slowly but surely, they're just getting better and better and better.
And it's Youngbuck, by the way, because I was talking to Perks before the game, and he told me, man, I really wish somebody would play Bard in the LCS, and I had to tell him that his opponent of today played Bard yesterday. So clearly he's not leading the draft. So Youngbuck, props to him for doing the drafting.
Definitely. Very good transition there into the coaching role here in EU. And as we gear up for the next match on the card tonight, we need to take a quick break. But when we return, it is Elements versus H2K, so don't go anywhere.
Wave, let's wave. What? They're clapping, man. For me, for me. Go wave, for me. Happy, go wave.
The Vault will put him away, but the knockback from Kickers. 2 tower shots and first blood to Emperor. Everybody's jumping in on the fight. Trashy forced to flash away. Senkai gets a Glitterlance down to Hybrid. Summon a heal will keep him alive a few seconds longer.
Fight. Got someone.
Then we can buy.
Listen. No Lulu. Nice. Get right side.
Trashy's already gone. Glacial Fissure. Two-man knocker. Kickers has found them, and with the steadfast presence, nobody can get away. Bobby's pulling pressure on the side, but he's just dies. He's gone. There's 2. Triple kill for Emperor. Gamers 2. A flawless week. 2-0 in week 4.